Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Apostate Weekly. I'm your host, James.
And I'm Ryan.
And this week, we're going to find out what diddly Diddy did and what fiddle he fiddled.
What diddle he do?
What fiddle he fondled and all that. And we also got more stories for you coming at you, too, about a guy who is a witness and he was found guilty after doing abuses since 98.
Yuck.
Yeah. And then we also have another story about an expert who is about Jehovah's Witnesses in Denmark, saying how they shouldn't be recognized as a religious community.
Oh, shit.
So, and we got that and more coming your way. So, with that being said, let's roll that intro and get into this.
Welcome back, everybody.
Like I said, we're going to be seeing what diddly did to those kiddly kids.
Yeah, that is the frustrating and upsetting part for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worry about the young children that got involved with this psycho.
Yeah. And what sucks about people like that is they get fame, they get money, and a lot of their bad deeds go swept under the rug for far too long.
Yeah, right. Like it's because they're so popular, people put them on a pedestal and they just think they can do no wrong. Or even if they do wrong, like, oh, it was just a mistake, they're really a good person. It's like they're always simping for them versus acknowledging that this person has authority and power. Like there's an imbalance with many of the people that he comes across because he is so influential and he's abused it for sure. And it is coming out of the woodworks.
Oh yeah.
We see what Diddy did, what he done did.
Yes. And how many D references can we make?
There's probably there's more coming up. So
it's a really sticky situation.
Ugh. And you guys, like, here's the thing. You all know, and I'll just say it. You all know that we deal with things through laughter, but we understand the scope of this and the seriousness of this. Like it makes I honestly want to throw up because I'm so disgusted that this dude got away with so much shit for so long. And not just him, so many other high profile people. But laughter is how it's like the only way that we won't just collapse into a corner of the closet and shut the door and not want to come out.
Yeah.
It's just how I'm dealing with it. I understand that this is serious. We might joke about it, but it's disgusting. It's deplorable, but we also have to live the rest of our day.
Yes,
you know, we have to find a way to keep going so we can talk about these jerks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So don't take offense to anything. We're just bringing the disgusting things to light. And sometimes it's really uncomfortable.
Laughter relieves stress. And
it does.
It gives you those, what is that? The cortisol hormone chemicals.
Right, serotonin, cortisol.
Serotonin, thank you. Makes you feel better.
Serotonin, yeah.
Thank you. And so, yeah, it's just, we got to be able to handle these things so we can keep going on ourselves, like you said. And that's just our way of doing it. And it's not meant to be offensive. It's just our way of dealing.
Yeah. Trying to cope. It's not like I have a freaking therapist to go to. I don't have a therapist to talk to. So sorry, y'all. You got to do the job.
This is your Wednesday morning therapy.
Exactly.
Didn't you know we're turning this into a therapy show all about you, Ryan? Get ready.
Oh, well, shit. That's all you had to tell me. Okay. It's the
You're gonna
Ryan show.
you're gonna go through all your crap live on the air.
Now, actually, I do not even think that y'all would find that slightly entertaining. So maybe we won't.
And I'm not a licensed therapist.
I put
So
Pickles to sleep talking about it.
right.
But
So
yes, to Jay's point, I would say that the answer to that is yes. Looking at videos of them two together, pictures of them two together, like Biebs was so small. And I don't know if y'all knew, but so Usher is the one who signed Justin Bieber. And Usher was handed over for like, I don't know how long, to Diddy. So Usher, as a teenager, was at Diddy's parties, partaking in, maybe drugs, maybe sex. I'm trying to say allegedly here, but I think the answer is yes, that's what they were doing. And when Usher later then signed Justin Bieber, he did the same thing and handed Justin Bieber over to P. Diddy for like 3 days. And the video of them two together, of Justin Bieber and Diddy, he looks frightened, like beyond, like he's just stiff and he's and he was subjected to all kinds of things that no child should be seeing, regardless if you're in the industry or not.
yeah. I don't know too much about the whole situation myself. I just know it's been on the news and it's been going down. So, and I did hear about the Justin Bieber thing as well. And I wonder how much grooming went into these children that he basically helped raise up and also bring to stardom.
Right. So just think of like the dynamic there and how much you as a child feel like you owe this person who's given you so much, but they've taken so much of your soul away from you.
Yeah.
Not like literally, but they've just taken part of who you are as a person. They put
Well,
you in
yeah.
front of things that you never should have faced, in situations you never should have been in.
And then I'm sure there's the whole, because of the imbalance of power, you owe me, you need to be quiet because I got you this fame and money and fortune and all that. So you just need to shut up about what I did to you. So they do, because they want to keep their peace basically in this world about it, even though it's a terrible thing and terrible way that they got to those positions.
I mean, honestly, if you ask me, they were acting like mob bosses in these celebrity circles, where some people can pretty much get away with whatever they want, whereas other people are just used, abused, and thrown to the side.
Yeah.
But I absolutely think that Justin Bieber was subjected to some wild stuff that he feels guilty for. If you've ever listened to him talk about Billie Eilish, that young singer, he kind of tried to take her in under his wing because he said he didn't want to happen to her what happened to him. So he's admitting there that he has been influenced by certain people. He's just not pointing the finger, and probably because he's terrified to do so. But there is a possibility that he might actually sing about what Diddy did to him, or what he's heard Diddy has done to other people. It could all come out.
And the song will be called "The Diddler on the Roof."
There's so many puns in his name.
Oh, I know.
And even Puff Daddy, like daddy, like they're
Puff.
Yeah, right. It's just full of, he's a joke. He's an actual just joke of a human being. Do you want me to just jump in? I might as well just jump into the article that I have.
Yeah, jump into it.
Sorry, I was just kind of realizing we've been talking about it, but I could pull this up. So here are some of the things that he's being accused of doing. And I say accused because, you just got to be careful. I don't trust nobody, and I would not want him coming for little old us. I know we're not important, but you just never know when people go crazy what they will do. So he's been charged with sex trafficking and racketeering. Now, this is a producer, songwriter, singer, rapper, and he is being charged with trafficking and racketeering. His Los Angeles and Miami homes were raided, and he was arrested at his NYC home. And here are some of the things that were found at his compound, if you would like to call it that. So this is a picture. This is like an actual picture of over 700 dildos, almost close to 800 dildos, vibrators, sex toys that were recovered from his home. I don't have the picture of the baby oil, but over 1,000 bottles of lubricant and baby oil were also found at his home. Also, what has been found and recovered are tapes of the acts, the parties that would happen at his home. And what you've come at the right time, Math Pig.
I was just about to type that in the chat. You came at the right time.
This is like the perfect time to enter the Math Pig enters the chat. Dildos flash on the screen. Yeah, so over 700 dildos, over 1,000 bottles of lubricant and baby oil, as well as sex tapes. So this man was pulling an Epstein, because we know what Epstein did. He would have high profile celebrities, state reps, you name it. Anybody who is powerful and influential in this country and other countries, he would set up with sex workers and record the acts, and then use that as blackmail. And it is alleged that it is exactly what Diddy was doing. So where did he learn these things? Friends with Weinstein. Who's Weinstein friends with? Epstein. All these people are connected. And that is going to be their undoing, because they've been in so many parties with their pictures and the interviews. Okay. So some other people who are being alleged participating in some of this, and again, I'm just saying alleged, is Usher. I've already said Usher, Jay-Z, possibly Kanye West, Pharrell Williams, Kardashians. Kris Jenner is like BFF with Diddy. And we know that they have a church where they probably allegedly launder money. Leonardo DiCaprio. There are, Cuba Gooding Jr. That's another one. So many celebrities are being attached to these parties and even, y'all, murders. So Diddy's wife, if you didn't know, Diddy's wife died, I think it was like last year. It wasn't that long ago, of pneumonia. Perfectly healthy person. Yes, people die of pneumonia all the time. That is plausible. But she had faced and suffered so much abuse at the hands of Diddy. Allegedly, she wrote a memoir and hid it, but had given the locations to specific friends who she trusted in the event of anything happening to her, for it to be released, because she felt and had seen Diddy took care of people allegedly off of this earth, like Tupac Shakur, Biggie Smalls. Yes, that is it. Aaliyah. Yes, all this group of people are being accused of also killing Aaliyah. And oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. Damn it, I lost my train of thought. So all these people anyway are being accused, and in this memoir, it lists these people. The memoir also, again, allegedly says that the young white child star that Diddy influenced and subjected to horrible things is Justin Bieber. So according to this memoir, if it's true or not, that all remains to be seen. But he did
Yeah.
things that were very inappropriate and crimes to Justin Bieber.
We still have a ways to go before we find out the whole scope of this, because this is just breaking within the last week. So
Yeah. Like this is so
I mean,
if you guys really want to get into it, I don't know that you're interested, but if you really want to get into it, I would suggest you look up a woman who's named Jaguar Wright. She has been singing about this for a long time. She has been saying that Tupac was killed by Diddy. Notorious B.I.G. was killed by Diddy, as well as other people she lists that were mysteriously killed. And then, you know, his wife is mysteriously killed, as well as, like, there's things where they're saying in this group, in this secret society, if you will, if that's what it's called, even celebrities like Whitney Houston, they're saying was taken out by, not by Diddy, but in the circles that where he's learned it from, because he had to have learned this
yeah.
and had connections with somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know I'm taking a long time. Let me see if there's anything else in my notes that's really important that I tell you, or if you guys have any questions. I'm looking. Oh, really quickly, I want Ashton Kutcher, because I want to draw the Scientology connection here. So Ashton Kutcher, we know he used to do a show, Punked, and that is where he and Diddy became very good friends. And Ashton Kutcher was always at his white parties and whatever they were doing at these parties, right? Now, Ashton Kutcher is somebody who is vehemently against child trafficking, and even has Thorn, I forget what it stands for, or if that's just its name, Thorn, where they're supposedly helping the government, like, create technology that will help them find abusers, track them down, and negate their strength online, right? Being able to get to kids online, supposedly. Well,
Yeah,
he's the one who freaking stuck up for Danny Masterson.
I was
He
just
and
about to
his
say
wife.
that. Yep.
Yeah, they wrote the letter saying that he's a good dude. So
Yep.
you're not against sexual assault. You're not against the
No.
harm of children. And I wanted to play this short little clip from his show where he's punking Hillary Duff and what he says about her. Y'all might remember this clip. It's very short.
Hillary Duff is in Lizzie McGuire. She also has an album out. She's going to be in a movie called Cheaper by the Dozen. And she's one of the girls that we're all waiting for to turn 18, along with the Olsen twins. Any 15-year-old.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all, if you remember, and if you don't, I'll tell you, at the time, Hillary Duff, I think she was 15, and the Olsen twins, I think, are younger than her, or at least the same age. I thought the Olsen twins were younger than Hillary Duff, but that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even something we're waiting for her to turn 18. Okay, what? Because she turned 18, that makes it legal? She's still like a child. It's freaking creepy. So sorry, almost missing a little piece. One of the other people who has come forward and has been talking about this for years, and people said they're crazy, also said that, oh shit, I'm losing my thought again. Damn it. Oh, there's just so much. Okay, well, I lost the thought, so we'll have to move on if it comes to me. Oh, it's about Scientology. It's about Scientology. That's what I was trying to tie to. So a bodyguard of one of these celebrities said that this is something that is typically done in Scientology circles. Like, he has seen it done where they record whatever act, whatever, something that could be embarrassing for somebody, and then use that as blackmail. So he mentioned specifically Scientology, and these people who practice Scientology in these circles do that all the time. So allegedly.
Allegedly,
Do with this information what you will, but I have a feeling that as everything goes through the washer and comes out and gets hung to dry, we're going to see a lot of celebrities fall.
yeah. And it's going to be a lot that's linked to it, and I hope that the Justice Department does its due diligence in hunting down
Mhm.
and individually picking off and prosecuting each and every one of them that's involved in this in any way.
I hope so. I hope they don't take any of this lightly, because I just, it makes me so sad because we put, like we said, we pedestalize, if that's a word, these people and put them like, I don't know, we have these parasocial relationships where we just think they can do no wrong. And they're just as human as we are. And it doesn't mean that we can't appreciate their talents. But when you go beyond that and start thinking like, oh, they're a good human, and you start to anthropomorphize, right? Kind of like you put your own thoughts, feelings onto these people. It's not who they are.
Especially what's the saying, never meet your heroes.
Yeah, never meet your
You know?
idols. Never meet
Yeah.
your idols or your heroes.
So if I'm never was a big fan of Puff Daddy anyways, but I could just put that same perspective on people who I have been a fan of. And if they
Mhm.
did it, I would lose all respect for them, period. But
Yeah.
some people just don't in these situations. And that's what is really bad and dangerous too, is when the people who do idolize them see what harms they're doing to others and still support them and are doing everything they can to keep them off the hook,
Hmm. I
especially
just,
in the rich and their social circles that do that for each other.
yeah, and the reason why like Scientology, like I even bring that up is because we've talked about how they've had cubicles or something like that set up at one of the police stations. Like you could go into the police station and it had like a kiosk where you could learn about Scientology. They have since taken it down, but I think Scientology like gives them money. So it's like, how can you be an equal or a fair judge, right? Like as a police officer or whatever, if you're intermingling with these Scientologists, you can't, and it's proven they can't.
Yes. All right. Shall we move on then?
We shall. What did he do? Well, I think he did it.
And we're going to find out more about what Diddy did over time. So,
Yeah, we'll keep talking about it.
oh, yeah. All right. Moving along now. So, we have, and this is in coming out of Pennsylvania, uh, another witness. Right now, he is 62, and a Philadelphia jury found this guy, David Belosa, guilty on all charges related to the sexual abuse of a young child in 1998.
Good news.
Now, this wording drives me nuts because it says he's a former member of a Jehovah's Witness congregation. Are they trying to say he's a former Jehovah's Witness? I don't know.
Yes.
But
Why? But he wasn't. Wasn't he elder or something? Or is this a different guy?
I don't know. I don't know what you're thinking about because I don't read minds. So,
Well, I just remember this case from before, so for some
yeah.
reason, I feel like
I
I
think
could
we
be
talked
wrong,
about him before, but now he's actually
he's
been
convicted. Right. No, this is like an
convicted.
update, but
Yeah.
for some reason, I felt like he was an elder. But anyway, I don't
Well,
think he was former. I think he was current.
I think he was an elder because right here it says, noting that Belosa exploited his position within the church, and usually that means an
Yes.
elder.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm right. He definitely, whether it was ministerial or elder, he had some
Yeah.
kind of position. I remember that face, and I was like, "You dirty bastard."
Yeah. And so this is good news because he's been found guilty. We don't know what the sentencing is yet. It says here that sentencing is January 27th. So, but he is facing penalties that encompass the full extent of the law for his actions. So, good for Pennsylvania getting him off the streets and getting those convictions because these guys need to be locked up and those keys need to be thrown away. And going to our previous story, if everybody who allegedly did all that stuff did do it, I hope they get punished to the fullest extent of the law as well.
Right. This was PA, you said?
Yeah, Harrisonburg.
Is he part of
Or
the
Harrisburg, sorry.
PA investigation? Is he one of the 14?
It didn't say that he was in this article.
I'm trying to remember. Because if not, why wouldn't he be included in the PA investigation, right?
It could just be the timeline of the accusations too. Because they said he did it in 98. I don't know. That's just an initial thought.
I'm trying. Unfortunately, I'm trying to remember because I feel like some of those cases were old cases. Because I read through some of them, but it's been so long. Anyway, justice is served. And that's what's important.
Justice is served, and he is going to be charged, and he's going to go away for a long time. At age 62, I don't think he's seeing the daylight of freedom ever again.
You don't deserve to.
No, not at all. Throw away the key.
Yeah.
I
mean, prison should be for rehabilitation, but is there rehabilitation in prison? It's a business. They don't care about rehabilitating people. They want you in there. They want you to come back.
Oh yeah. In this country, it's not about rehabilitation.
Our justice system is so freaking whack.
It is. All right. I'm going to move along. Did you have another story
Well, I do want to mention to you that since we just said that our justice system is whack, last night Missouri put to death an innocent man named Marcellus Williams.
Yes.
And that was very disappointing, y'all, because over 1 million people, I don't even know how many, but it was over 1 million people signed different petitions. Hundreds of thousands of us were calling the governor's office, the deputy governor's office, state reps. I even did my first fax yesterday. I did my first fax in years because they had shut down all the lines. Like you couldn't get through. You couldn't even leave a message. So we faxed. So we got free accounts online and faxed the number. Like so many of us were doing so many different things. There were people who even got in the way of the motorcade, like that takes him to the place to be executed. There were people outside the governor's home, and he was out and about gallivanting around, breaking ground for some like park or some shit. He didn't even care.
And that is such a terrible story because even the Supreme Court of that state rejected the petitions.
Right. And the Supreme Court, like the federal Supreme Court, if we could have got 4 of the 9, is that how many? If we could have got 4 of the 9 to agree to stop the execution, we could have stopped it, but only 3 of the state Supreme Court wanted to stop it. And even the prosecutor is the one who said, like, we shouldn't be executing this man.
Yeah.
Because the evidence didn't prove that he had committed the murder.
Yeah, they had DNA evidence that showed he didn't do it.
Yeah, the DNA evidence was of somebody completely different. And I think that some of the DNA was of the lawyers, somebody in the case who handled it because they improperly handled the murder weapon and got their own DNA on it. But there was no DNA of his on it. So it's like, your DNA's on it. Maybe you did it, prosecutor, whoever that person was. Maybe you're the one who did it.
Yeah. And this is why we really need to have proper reform in our prison systems, because these executions that happen like this for innocent people, you're literally murdering innocent people when you have the evidence to show that they're innocent. Why did you let this man be killed?
Yeah.
I don't get it. The moral compass is just so whacked. It's ridiculous.
It is. It really is. It's sad. And honestly, you guys, I'm going to tell you what I think. I think that these judges, they do this on purpose because Marcellus's case was stayed before. I think once or twice before it was stayed, while other evidence was being gathered. Da 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 da. I honestly think that these people get off on persecuting and psychologically harming folk. So this is just a game to them. And okay, I'm going to say something really wackadoodle. I think that they probably place bets on this stuff. I think there are probably groups of people who take bets on what will and won't happen in cases like this for freaking funsies. I just think that like whoever, similar groups of people flock together, right? And I'm not saying Illuminati, I'm not saying that, but I do think that there are people who just get to a level of like they've had everything in life. They've been able to taste, do everything, that it doesn't satisfy them anymore. And they want to be sick. They want the disgusting things. That's how I feel, allegedly.
Yeah. That, I love it when minds can be changed.
Thank you, Jokic.
Thank you for sharing that, Jokic.
That honestly, that makes, because I was, as a Jehovah's Witness, I thought the death penalty was fine. But now that I realize that our justice system is not just, and it could be you or me, like that is where I take it. Okay, if they will do this to somebody else who is innocent, who else will they do it to, right? If they will murder innocent children in cold blood, in another country, in Palestine, what will they do here since they have power here because our police and their police are involved? Like, that's where my mind goes when instances in history like this happen.
See, I was reading something about the governor, and he's the governor that let off those people who were holding guns and pointing them at protesters, that white couple.
What? And then yes,
allows this guy.
I remember that case.
This is completely backwards justice here. And like Jenny here says, it's racism.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, right.
Because you let the white folk off pointing guns at people, but you put the innocent black man to death.
Exactly. I honestly, you guys, like, you give me chills. Like, whenever other people understand where I'm coming from, it just makes me happy, and like I don't feel so alone. So I'm glad to see that, like, after coming out of high control religion, we realize how much of our life was prescribed to us. We just did certain things because we were told to do it and never really thought too much into it. And now that we have critical thinking, we're like, wait a minute, this could have, these tales could turn on us. This could be my loved one. And is anybody going to care? Are people going to laugh in my face? We had people, like, we were on last night holding some space, for people, because this is really sad. And there were people just making videos laughing in our face. And I'm actually just kind of shocked at the callousness of some people, but it is what it is. But when I see humans like you who have sympathy and understand, that melts my heart, and it makes me feel good, and it makes me feel like I can keep going. So thank you.
And speaking of keeping going, let's move on to another story.
Good segue. I like that.
I know, right?
You did
it was
good.
very, very well placed. So we're going to go and talk about Brazil now. And in Brazil, there has been an issue going on about whether Jehovah's Witnesses are allowed to refuse blood transfusions or not. Here we go again with the blood transfusions stories, But this one I feel is actually very balanced in its approach, because they talk about a patient who needed to have a surgery and they wanted to have a blood transfusion, and the leaders of this country were really looking into see whether they should allow them to refuse it or not. Now, where I say it's balanced here is they allow the witnesses to refuse blood transfusion with some stipulations. You have to be of adult age and in sound mind to be able to consent to not have a blood transfusion. You have to personally refuse it yourself. You can't have somebody else refuse it for you. So I think those are some very important distinctions right there.
Mhm.
Also, they say that in the municipality that the municipality will pay for whatever alternatives there are if they're available in that area.
Mm.
So not every alternative is available in every area, obviously, and not every doctor is a specialist in the alternatives there are. So if they're available, their coverage of their health there will cover the alternatives for these patients. If
Right.
not, obviously that brings up some different deals. But I thought this was actually a very well balanced approach to handling the blood transfusion issue with the witnesses.
You know what really bothers me, James, is that Jehovah's Witnesses never take the perspective of the doctor, the nurses, the anesthesiologist, anybody in that operating room who has to witness her dying.
Yeah, you're right.
They don't care.
No.
And yes, I've worked in an OR. Do people die? Yeah. For me, I only saw it happen once or twice. But do people die? Yeah. But it's not as just like often as you think, like if you're just working at one local specific hospital, right? You know, you might have a couple deaths a year. You are adding such mental burden to everybody in that room, stress, to literally have to watch you bleed out.
Especially when they know they can save you. You know, that's the worst part right there. They know they have a way they can save you.
Mhm.
And because of your medical directives, they have to stand by
Right.
and watch you die.
Like this, just stand there and just, and it's, and you know, people act like this happens like in a minute. No,
No,
sweetheart.
no.
You bleed out for a good bit before your body finally starts to tank. And you don't just
Yeah.
go like that. You suffer. You go through pain. It's not going to feel good to die for minutes on end.
For anybody who knows cars at all, it's like if you drain the oil out of the engine, it's going to still run for a while, but the
Yeah,
friction is going to build up and it's going to start to burn out the internal components.
right. Organs are going to start to shut off. You don't think that's going to hurt?
Yeah.
You don't think that's going to make you feel horrid as you die? Gosh.
Yeah. You're going to go through an excruciating death when that
I
happens.
just don't get it.
Yeah. So that was that story. And you didn't have any more, did you?
No, just, you know, please keep your eye on Palestine, the West Bank. They're invading West Bank. They already started bombing Israel. Lebanon. And you guys know I'm Lebanese. It's really breaking my fucking heart. And I'd like to go over there and handle my own business with some of these people in Israel. But no, that wouldn't be the right thing to do. I'm not going to say that, allegedly. But yeah, they've killed I think over 1,000 plus people in Lebanon now as well. So yeah,
Was that part of the pager attack too?
They've been bombing them.
Right.
So
But
part of
I
it
mean
was
that
pagers.
thing was wild. That's like some next level James Bond shit right there.
Right. And here's the thing that people the people who don't get it, that means our supply chains are at risk because if they did this to however 1,000 pagers, and this was doctors, nurses, this wasn't just who they think they were targeting. There were children standing by. There were innocent people. People were at their jobs and got killed by somebody they didn't even know. And the people were like, well, oh, it's Hezbollah. Okay, so if Hezbollah was standing next to you and you died, your family should just be okay with that because Hezbollah died, although they took you with. That makes zero sense. That is an act of terrorism. That could happen to anybody now in our supply chain because we know that they're weak, they're open. And guess what? Just the FYI, I mean, I'm not saying, but a person from Israel is like one of the highest up people at Apple now. I'm just saying. So like, is your supply chain safe? Is your iPhone safe? I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust it for software. I wouldn't trust it for anything now.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm crazy, but
Well, if they can do it there, they can do it here. That's how I look at it.
It's exactly. If they can kill an innocent man, they'll kill any innocent person. That's why we have to start really seriously thinking about how these actions affect us, because we're watching it happen. And if we say nothing, what is that window? You guys, there's some kind of window. It's some like, I can't remember what it's called, but there's this theory that like when you start to push boundaries and nothing happens, like the boundaries continue to get pushed until you're just off the cliff. It's yeah. I wish I could remember what it's called. But anyway, yeah. So thank you for bringing that up too, because that's important. That was a good piece of news.
All right. Last story I have for you here. And this is coming out of Denmark. An expert on the Jehovah's Witnesses say they should not be recognized as a religious community. Now, if you see on your screen right here, this guy is trying to talk to the witnesses at their headquarters in Denmark. And the reason why he says that they shouldn't be recognized as a religion is kind of like some of the stuff that Norway has, but I think this is a little bit more hard-hitting at the same time. So he says that they violate their obligation in relation to children, which means that they don't report when abuses have taken place within the congregation. And he even knows that they report to the elders within the congregation, and then those elders in turn report to the legal department at headquarters, right? Then on top of that, he also has their elders book from April of this year, which tells the elders how they must deal with these cases. And none of the sections in that elders book says call the police. Those sections say call the legal department. Now, it would be, I've been saying this for a long time, it would be so easy for the witnesses to just update their policy with a couple of sentences. If you see a crime or an abuse of anybody in our congregation, call the flickin' police. That's it.
Right.
You know, we know that they're so quick to call the police when somebody vandalizes their hall, but they don't call the police when somebody violates the rights of one of their children or other people in the congregation. It's such a backwards standard. It's ridiculous.
Yep, because they see it as a sin against Jehovah, not against the family or the child. And as long as you make it right with God, what can they do?
So hopefully this goes somewhere in Denmark, because we know there's more countries working on this as we speak now, like Lithuania. Now we have Denmark working on it. I think this is, after Norway, it's going to be a house of cards falling in on the witnesses to lose their religious status in Europe, at least. I hope that continues around the world.
You know what I want to say too, James? This brings up another weak spot, because the Jehovah's Witnesses are supposed to be universal. Like Everything they do is the same across the board. But in certain countries like Denmark, you would have to have every elder's book, like you said, add those few lines for either all your books or only the books in Denmark, right? The elder's manual in Denmark to fix the problem there so they don't lose their status. How would that make you feel as a JW, knowing that elders have different books in different countries because they have to play by the rules in different countries, but they don't want to do it where they don't have to. They don't want to protect children where they don't have to. So where's that universal love, Jehovah's love, that makes everybody do the same exact thing? That's out of bounds.
And actually, what you just said there was one of the things this guy said too, how in other countries it'll say, you know, where the laws are to call the police, you do that. But in other countries where it doesn't have those laws, just call the legal department.
Right. The first thing you think about is letting the higher ups, the elites in the governing body know what's up so they can protect their ass. It has nothing to do with like doing the right thing for the child or the person who's been harmed. It's all about making sure they don't get in trouble for it. Embarrass Jehovah. Bring the
we're gonna make God's name look bad. No, you're making yourselves look bad by your shitty practices. That's all you're really doing. And it's
people want transparency.
And what's sad is they just don't see that. It's like, how can you not see you're making yourself look bad by these policies?
Right. Look in the mirror, douche.
I mean, if you really want a good way to figure that out, look at how many people actually accept your message when you come knocking on their doors. In my 36 years of being one, I never converted anybody from knocking on their door.
Nope. I think I might have had a return visit once. And
I had return visits, but they never went anywhere.
No, never. But boy, did I waste a lot of my youth doing that work, that busy work, just to keep my mind busy, to keep me in that black and white thinking, as Jenny B said.
Well, you know, train up a boy when he's young.
Yes. And that's exactly groom. That's what they should say, is groom up a boy.
Yeah.
Just change the words. Say what you really want to say. Yeah, they will do any and everything. You're right.
So, well, that is all I have for today.
Oh, no. That
actually ends season 3.
Guys, we did it. We did it. Season 3.
We did it. We did it. We did it.
Yeah. We did it. Wait, excuse me? You had a study who murdered her husband?
Whoa.
Well,
okay, Jokic, please email me that story. I want to hear that one.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yikes.
If you have the time and you care to, that is. You're not obligated to. But if you wouldn't mind, I'd love it if you would.
We all were, right, Mary? Fee, we were all, in some way, we were groomed and didn't realize it.
Groomed to be doomed.
Oof, yeah. But we changed it up.
Like Diddy and his diddling.
Oh, brother. Yeah, so keep your eyes peeled for what happens with Diddy, y'all.
Yeah.
It's going down.
But if they set precedents with these kinds of cases like that, I hope that then continues on into other areas like the religious communities and the political communities and all that have been getting the immunity from these things all these years. Let's bring that to light and let's get these people locked up, put away, and get them off our streets and away from our kids.
Yes. Amen to that.
So with that being said, next week we will not be here. We're going to take a break.
Taking a break. Taking a break from all your...
I know, Fee. I have lots of hope. Somebody has to.
Hang on, me. No, I'm just kidding.
We know that.
I have a lot of hope. Sometimes it just means pissing off a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like, you have to talk about this stuff. We have to talk about it in our social circles. Like, it can't just be online. Like, that's not just gonna solve the problem. We have to actually make calls to our representatives. We have to talk to our friends and our families. These are all things that we really truly need to regularly take part in to make a difference.
Yes, it is.
And I do those things. I need to be better with my in-person community. I just get afraid to meet people, so it's like my issue, but I'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
But with that being said, we thank you all for joining us.
Okay.
Like I said, we are taking a break next week. We're going to get set up for season 4. And if we decide to take another week after that, we'll let you know on the Facebook group, and I'll also post it on the community tab for the show if we take an extra week as well. So, because sometimes taking a break from all this crap is nice.
Yeah. Take a breather. But we'll see you soon.
And I'm not saying that because I was on this season and there's a dildo on the shelf. Well,
Right.
Ken, there was over 700 dildos on the screen earlier.
A lot.
I mean, that's bags and bags of D's there for you, man.
I don't even.
Yeah. But
Ugh.
anyways, let's not dwell on that.
Yeah. It hurts
Let's
my
not
heart.
dwell on Diddy's D's.
No, I do not want to dwell on D's. D's and B's.
Okay. No, we love y'all. We appreciate it. We will see you next season, and we hope you all enjoy the break as well. And thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Love you.
Bye.
Here's to season 4.
Guys, it's over. Go home.
Go.
What are you still doing here?
Leave.
Go home.
Come on. Stop looking at me.
Yeah. Oh, bye.
Perverts.